but Sukh has joined us, which is great. I'm going to hand over to Sukh, who's going to be going through our introduction to local SEO. All right, Sukh.
Okay. Cheers, Jess. Hello, guys. So if you didn't join this morning, I'll just do a quick intro to me. My name is Sukh, and I head up the SEO department at Anicca Digital. I've been at Anicca for about 6 years, thereabouts, and I focus on working on our larger SEO projects, lead gen, e-commerce, even local SEO, which is handy, and doing a bit of R&D and our own Anicca marketing, and working with our talented group of SEO technical people and content writers. So I will skip some of the intro stuff. So I wanted to do an overview of local SEO, and I will focus on as many practical takeaways as possible. What I've done in the slides as well is I've labeled a few of the slides as homework, where I will kind of go top level with them and save the detail as handouts for yourselves that you can use as an action list of things to try out and start working on your end. So let's start at the start. So local SEO, what is local SEO? So essentially it sounds like exactly what it says on the tin. So we're essentially optimizing your brand or your website, and you don't even have to have a website, which is a great thing about local SEO, to appear for local search queries. So essentially we're doing using a lot of the SEO principles that you might be familiar with, particularly if you joined this morning's session, and focusing on the local impact and the local aspects of those activities, such as link building specifically for localized websites, and localized content where we're mentioning locations, and we're building citations and links from local websites, and using local images, etc. So just a few stats to put everything into context as to why this is important. So 46% of all search queries have a local intent. 29 of search results contain a local pack, which is what I'll show you in a bit. 76% of people who conduct a local search on their smartphone visit a physical location within 24 hours of that search, and 28% of those searches result in some kind of purchase. So I've got a link to the stats that I've mentioned above there, but essentially this kind of puts it into context as to why local SEO is pretty important if you've got a local presence and you want to drive local footfall, as well as engage with a certain radius of a location to push your service and apply it to that specific location. So I didn't start my timer. Right, let's do that now. About 2 minutes out of that. Cool. So I'm just starting with an example, again, just to put it into a broader context and narrow down the different elements that make up this example search query. So searching for vegan food Leicester, which is essentially my passion. So if I do this search on a desktop, you'll see the search results broken down into, just getting rid of the little video of me. So you'll see search results getting broken down into a find results on bit at the top there, which is a list of trusted directories and vendors. So if you're searching for a restaurant, for example, then you'll likely see something like a TripAdvisor and also an app like Uber Eats or Just Eat. Then what you'll see is what I referred to earlier as the local pack, which is basically localized search results that when you click onto them, go to the Google Maps page. That'll show you more detail about the business, and a snippet of reviews if the business has any, and other business information on opening times and what their category of business is, like restaurant or hotel, etc. So this is what we're looking to get into with our local SEO. The next set of results you'll see is organic results, which are more driven by traditional SEO methods of optimizing landing pages and the content on those pages for localized keywords, like, for example, garage doors Leicester or vegan food or vegan restaurant Leicester. So the thing with the organic results versus the local pack is you don't have to be based in that location to appeal to search queries that are searching for that location. So if I've optimized a landing page for garage doors Leicester, but my actual physical location is Nottingham, I can appear for those organic results, which is a plus and a negative, because obviously people that aren't based in those locations might be trying to appear in them just to get that, just to get into those organic results. So there's a upside and a downside to that, but we tend to recommend only optimizing if you're physically based in that location as a rule of thumb. So I've just got another example here where I've slightly tweaked that search query. So that original one was vegan food Leicester. So now I've changed it to vegan food near me. Again, I'm on a desktop search. So as you can see by that example, the results have narrowed down a little bit to restaurants that are closer to me. Well, you wouldn't know that until I tell you that I'm actually based in Leicester. So the previous set of results were restaurants that were based broadly in, Leicester city centre. So it's kind of broadly appealing to everyone based in Leicester making that search. Whereas now this has localized it a little bit more by using my Wi-Fi address on my router to tell where am I actually based. And then it is basically returning the addresses that it thinks are close to me as possible. So now we're starting to get more specific, and this is more of a realistic search that I feel people would make. So again, this is something we would optimize for with defining, business location data, and I'll go through examples later on how we optimize for that. So again, I've stuck with the same search query, but now I've done this search on mobile. So if I just compare the last screen again, so I've got a list of restaurants there. And then if we go to this, I see a different set of restaurants with a, a little snippet of text at the top, which says, near you. So what this result is doing now on mobile is using my GPS to give me a really more specific, accurate location. And what it's doing is returning restaurants that are even closer to me. So again, this is even more of a realistic search because statistics show that most people doing local searches are searching on their mobile. Therefore, the results they're seeing on mobile are way more specific and local than desktop search. The reason being because GPS location data is even more accurate than Wi-Fi data, which is still a little bit broad and based on postcodes. So I'll just go into some of the ranking factors that will allow you to appear for a result like one of the results I showed previously. So if you were in this morning's session, or if you're familiar with SEO ranking factors in general, you'll know that basically what we do in SEO campaigns is try to optimize for as many ranking factors as possible. So a ranking factor in this case is, one of them is optimizing your Google My Business profile, which is a free tool by Google that allows you to create a profile based on your business location, list all of the information related to your business, and control your, not control, but respond to reviews and create posts and do other things. This is a big ranking factor because you can basically optimize for the services and keywords even that you're trying to get searched for. And Google will pick up on the work you do and try and rank you as high as possible. Other signals are backlinks, which local websites are pointing back to your website. Are they mentioning your brand and services? How well are you writing your descriptions on these websites that link to you? And on-page SEO, so optimizing keywords and location data and citations and reviews. So we'll go through all of those and how you can practically impact those. So I'll start with Google My Business. So Google My Business is a really powerful free tool or platform that allows you to claim a business. So Google will have already picked up on if you haven't defined this already, it will pick up on your address or your business name, and it'll say, if you search for your business, it'll give you a button to say, do you want to claim this business? Usually that's the main way that we set up these profiles for clients. So we will claim a business, for example, and then we'll create a login, and we will start to optimize the listing in Google My Business. So we will define, a business name, business address and phone number, and any other details like social media handles, email addresses, phone numbers, opening times, etc. So it sounds quite simple, but it's a very powerful tool, because what it allows you to do then is, if you look at this example on the left, this is a search result on mobile where most of these details that you'll see, you'll also see this in the desktop search on the right side, and what's called a knowledge graph result. You'll see, if you search for a business, all of these details like opening times, link to website. If you've written a post, it'll show you a post there, and social media handles and opening times, etc. You can define all of that and update them in real time just by logging into Google My Business. So homework takeaway for you, if you've not defined this already, is create an account or log into your existing account and check that you've updated as many details as possible. A couple of other examples, excuse me, my voice is going a bit, on areas in Google My Business that you can update are, if you're temporarily closed, you can set a date and time or times between that you are temporarily closed, and it will update that straight away. And there's a cool call to action there that draws the eye, so people can tell straight away. And another cool feature that was introduced in March of last year was the COVID-19 update. So this is basically part of the post feature in Google My Business. So a post allows you, it's essentially what it sounds like. So you can create a post, which could be an update on the business, or a bit of text that allows you to add in a CTA button to link off to like a blog post or your contact page, etc. So it allows you to basically post like you would do on a social media app, an update relating to your business. And that post shows up in the search results almost instantly. So it's a really powerful feature. And in this case, Google created this specific COVID-19 update post, which allows you to basically give a specific update on your business in relation to COVID-19. So what are your new opening hours? Have you got a reduced staff? Have you stopped doing business altogether for a particular period? A lot of people were using this update. So it's very useful. And if it applies to you, I recommend checking it out. Another example of a post type is special offers. And this is one that we did a while back on our online learning courses, where we added a banner image and a call to action to inquire if people were interested. So you can add in a separate URL that people can link to as well. So Google My Business overall is very powerful, and that's just kind of scratched the surface of the features that you can edit in there. Another cool thing about the platform is, and it ties into the ranking signal of reviews, so it allows you to view all of your reviews and respond to them in that platform. Again, this is really important, because if your business is getting reviews, it's important to be seen to responding to all of them, the positive ones and the negative ones. So I'll go more into that later on, into the whole thing about reviews, but you can do that in Google My Business. So to summarize, Google My Business is one of the ranking signals to appear for local listings. And there are some kind of really quick wins that you can do in those last few slides to optimize your profile for that. So moving on to the next ranking signal, we've got link signals or backlinks. So this is an important ranking factor because, as I would have mentioned in my previous talk, links in general act as individual votes of confidence or recommendations from one website to another or one entity to another. So if we have other local businesses that relate to the service that we offer, or we've got websites that represent a organization or an accreditation that our business has, it's important to make the link between these two entities, and the easiest way to do that is to link between them. So if someone links to your website and they're really important in the industry, it tells Google, you guys are important too, because these guys have a good amount of authority in Google. They've got a lot of content, a lot of backlinks pointing to them. So Google thinks basically if they're important and they're linking to you guys are important too. So this works really well on the local scale, where you've got local websites linking back to you. It's one of the main ranking signals that helps you rank locally. And I've got a few examples here of how you can encourage local links. So if you work with local businesses and charities, it's quite easy to get links back from them. So if you sponsor charities, for example, you can quite easily ask for, a call to action and a link. Say we work with this business or this business sponsors us, etc. If you provide free services for residents of the local area, and they own websites, then it's a quick win to ask them to link back to you. And as I said, sponsorships of sports teams, etc. And it partners with other organizations. It's mutually beneficial for you guys to link between each other anyway. So that's another quick win. And the other form of link building overall is to use content marketing and PR and content outreach to get links as well. So that's more of a broader topic that deserves a separate talk, but that's another thing to consider as well in gaining backlinks. So let's take a sip of this. So the other ranking signal we'll look at next is on-page SEO. So what I've got here is a breakdown of a landing page and the different elements on that page that you can edit to appeal to the local market through optimizing your brand and keywords and services. So in this example, you've got these different areas of a page where you can optimize, your title tag, your web address or URL, and your meta description. You can see the example on the right of how a title tag, URL, and meta description looks after it's been edited in the search results. So you can easily see how you can impact a user journey by them looking at a really well-written title, URL, and meta description, aside from its SEO value. And then the second half of this page shows that the body content area is another massive opportunity to optimize for SEO in generally, let alone for local SEO keywords. So if I go on the next slide, you'll see this defined a bit better where you've got tips for how to optimize each tag. So again, this is a homework thing to look at, but essentially you want to basically find the local keywords that people would be searching for and all the combinations of that, and then optimize your copy for that. So it would be local garage doors Leicester, for example, specific garage doors in Leicestershire, or specific regions within Leicester that you target, different variations of keywords that you think of, optimize them in all these important tags here. So the next ranking signal we're looking at is citations. So I mentioned links before. So that's one of the main ranking signals, the most powerful, that tells Google website B thinks website A is super important because it's linking back to it. So you should rank it higher in the search results. So citations is the next best thing to links, where instead of a link that physically you click on and it goes to a website, the citation will basically mention your brand name and or keyword and have a little bit of snippet of text about your brand and services too, or products. And that's basically it. So that's basically a citation, a mention of your brand, and ideally your business name, address, and phone number. That way Google can make the link between that citation on website B to your exact mention of that, the info in that citation on website A. So it's just like a link, only there's no link as such. It's basically the mention of your brand and keywords. So this is really important, and this is something that we actively build. We build citations in our local SEO projects. So we basically, the first step to building them is establishing what your NAP details are. That's a technical term for it. It's literally name, address, phone number. So if your name, address, phone number, like in this example, is consistent across all platforms, you stand a better chance of Google picking up on all of these citations and making the connection. If they were all different, like on one of the citations we were called Anicca Digital Limited, or Anicca, versus our website which says Anicca Digital, correct address, correct phone number, correct socials, etc., Google won't make that connection. It'll get confused. It won't think that that citation relates to you guys. So it's important to define your NAP details initially, like, say to organization, guys, what do we want to be called? What's our correct address format? That should be consistent. What are the Twitter handles, social media handles and everything? Phone number, we use one number, not just like 5 or 6. You define all of that, and then you basically mention that consistently on every different platform, as many as you can think of. We tend to use an automated approach where we use a tool called Bright Local, which lets us define business NAP details, and it will look for websites that are related to our industry and our location, and offer us a list of websites that we want to build locations on. And then there's literally a consultant on the other end that we pay for to build all of these citations. So it lets us do all of this activity at scale. So you can use something like that, or you can do it manually, or a bit of both, which is what we do. Different types of citations. So we've got, general business directories like yale.com, industry niche specific directories, trade bodies, organizations, local newspapers, locally themed blogs and websites. That's really important. And social profiles. That's important because that's a no-brainer and it's super accessible. So by default, you should have consistent details across all the platforms that you own first, and then seek out building new citations and links on external websites. And I've just got a bit of homework for you where we've listed some examples on how you can start building citations and the benefits on those 2 different options there, whether to do it manually or automated, or a bit of both, which is what we do. So on to the next ranking signal, or local ranking signal, which is reviews. So reviews are pretty important as well, and they're a really strong signal for obvious reasons. So if I'll use an example of me using reviews recently to buy a service. So I was looking for a trusted plumber locally. So I led by reviews. And at this point, I can pretty much tell, for the most part, what's a real review and what's a fake one. I think most people can. And it's usually things that give it away, like a stock image for an avatar, and similar sounding reviews, very brief, abrupt reviews. So yeah, found a plumber locally, and he had quite a lot of reviews, and he had 5 out of 5 aggregate score. And then when I clicked through the reviews, usually, and this happens with Amazon as well, if I see one negative review, that will niggle at me, and I'll want to know, why did someone do that? So I saw one negative review, but it seemed to be an accident or a miscommunication, where the business addressed that person directly and says, sorry, you feel that way. I didn't call you back because I actually emailed you. If you check your emails, you see I responded to you. And that response by the business encouraged the user to leave a follow-up review to say, ever so sorry. Let me amend this review by saying you did get back to me. The quote was fair and we are starting the job. So thank you, everyone, and disregard my last review. So by that business owner engaging with that negative review, the reviewer was in a position to edit that review, and I was able to see that. So I wasn't put off in the end. I was like, oh, that's just like an anomaly. They are actually really good and on it with their service. So that was kind of like a real practical example of me finding reviews useful and finding the engagement by the business super useful. So we always encourage businesses to engage with reviewers, not just the positive ones, but the negative ones too, and be seen to do that, because you can't actually delete reviews in Google, but you can respond. So with reviews, that's one of the main reasons why it's a strong ranking signal. It's a massive vote of confidence. And we also recommend not only relying on Google reviews, but trying to use a third party as well, like Trustpilot or reviews.co.uk. or Facebook, because Google uses a variety of different trusted sources and pulls in those reviews as an aggregate list of reviews in your knowledge graph. You'll notice it on a few big brands where they've got reviews from different platforms. So if you can use a different external reviewer, then please do that. So just coming towards the end of the slides now, I did add a last minute addition, and this isn't really in my wheelhouse because it's to do with paid search, but I wanted to add it anyway because it was to do with local search. So towards the end of 2020, Google rolled out a local service ads feature to the UK. So apologies, but I'm going to read off the slides here because I can't remember this. So this is a pay-per-lead program where a business only pays if a customer calls, messages, or leaves a voicemail. I think this was the main attractive feature that everyone liked about this particular ad. LSAs outrank other ads and everything else on the page, which is another USP. As it becomes more popular, categories will become much more competitive, so it's worth getting ahead of the competition and employing the use of local service ads. So if you have any questions specifically about that, I will refer you to one of my paid colleagues that can answer that in a bit more detail. I think one of them's coming up as well to stitch you up there, Dan. So local service ads, local specific, and obviously when we're looking at trying to get local visibility for someone, at the initial stage of strategy, we won't just focus on one marketing channel over the other, like local SEO. We will explore paid as well, and whatever the budget and resource allows on the client's side. And this might typically be one of the things we'll consider, where we should do SEO alongside PPC and specifically local service ads. So yeah, have a look at this and do check out the handout, the homework stuff. If you've got any questions, I'll try and answer them now and into the next talk. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Sukh. There was, we've got one question that came up about how to manage local SEO from different locations around the world.
Different locations around the world, yeah. So it's case by case basis. It's based on if you've got a presence in that location, and along with that presence, do you have like a physical website landing page or a Google My Business profile? So there is a way to do local SEO at scale internationally. We do that with a couple of clients. And in a nutshell, what it involves is making sure you've got a physical address. If you've got a physical address, set up a Google My Business profile for that location, just like you would do locally. My phone keeps going off when I mention Google. And then a bonus is if you've got a landing page for that country, then optimize that as well and link from your Google My Business to that. We can talk in more detail if you want to ping me an email on that.
Cool. I think we've got time for another quick one. It was a question around, obviously a lot of companies or small businesses now working from home. Is there a way to get around not disclosing your home address?
Yeah. Well, if you need to, it depends what situation that you need to disclose it. So if it's on the website and you rely on footfall, yeah, it's a bit of a nuanced one. I need to know case by case, I think. If you could ping me an email,
Yeah,
I could go into more detail with you on that.
Yeah, that came from Carol. So Carol, Sukh's put his email address in the chat. So feel free to drop him an email, be able to give you some more information in regards to that question. But thank you so much, Sukh. That's Sukh done for the day. Yeah, obviously, if any other questions as well, drop him an email. Like I said, we've got the hashtag Ask Anicca, so feel free to tweet us and tweet Sukh as well. He's got his Twitter handle there. And you'll be able to help out with any of the questions that you've got. Handouts available as well for this slideshow, so feel free to download that as well. Great, thanks so much, Sukh.